We come to this place for magic. We listen to the Brown Boy Wonders podcast to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get when we click the play button and we go somewhere we've never been before. Not just entertained, but somehow reborn together. Having dazzling guests on this great audio platform. Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our heroes feel like the best parts of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here they are. Brown Boy Wonders Podcast. We make podcasting better.
Welcome to the Brown Boy Wonders Podcast. Today is Halloween, so happy Halloween, everyone. Skyler and I, you guys should know by now, we've been watching all the Saw movies, and we're gonna talk about the last, hopefully, potentially the last film, Saw 10 or Saw X. But yeah, let's bring in my guy who's been through this from Saw 1. Skyler, how you doing, man?
10 movies, 10 podcasts. We're at the end. We've done it. What a spooky month this has been.
Yeah, man, it's been a good spooky month. I thought it was pretty fast, actually. What do you think?
Yeah, it kind of flew by. Well, I guess time does fly by when you have to watch a series of 10 movies.
Yeah, but yeah, this is the last Saw movie, potentially Saw X. But I do have a question for you.
All right, hit me.
All right. Do you want to play this last game with me?
Let us play one more game.
One more game for the funsies, you know? But yeah, we're gonna talk about Saw 10, Saw X. Side note, this is not part of the movie, but back to Spiral, our last episode. I do know what Chris Rock was talking or referring to in the movie when he was talking about Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah, at the very beginning.
Yeah, he was talking about Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't like Jenny or Forrest. He was just
Yeah,
talking trash
yeah.
about them.
No, I mean, he had some good points, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just a side note.
That's so funny you remembered to bring that up. I completely forgot. We talked about how I didn't remember who it was or
Yeah,
what movie it was.
yeah, I have to bring it in here. But yeah, so Saw 10, Saw X, probably the last Saw movie. But I do have a question for you, or I do have a little game for you.
Oh, now it's my game, my trap.
Can you name 10 Saw characters in 20 seconds?
Oh my god, in 20 seconds? No.
In 20.
I can't.
Well, we're doing it right now. I'm gonna bring
Oh
the
god.
timer. Let me get the timer here.
Wait, any character?
Any Saw characters, man.
But I have to get their names.
You have to get their name, not the actor's name, the character's name.
Oh my god. Okay.
Okay. Let me bring the timer. Not 1 hour, but 10 seconds. Not 10, I'm sorry, 20 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, 20. I'm giving you 20 seconds instead of 10 seconds because I think it's impossible to do 10 seconds.
I can't even speak that fast.
Yeah, so I'll give you another 10 seconds. So 20
Okay.
seconds on the clock.
I'm genuinely scared right now. I don't know if I can do this.
It's okay. Just think about all the characters out there.
I'm thinking.
From all 10 movies.
But I gotta remember their names.
Yeah, the character's name. All right. Do you need any bottled water or anything right now?
No. Let's do it. Let's do
All right.
this.
All right. 20 seconds on the clock. Ready, set, go.
Okay, John Kramer, Amanda, Detective Hoffman, Agent Strom, Agent Perez, Rig, Detective Singh, Lawrence Gordon, Adam, and in the new one, Diego. Diego was a guy.
Oh, you made it in 1 second. Good job, man. Good
That's
job.
it's the only name I could remember from the new movie, and if I
Yes.
hadn't just watched that new movie, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Good job, man. I'm
Notice how
proud of you.
everyone else was like an actual recurring character that did something.
Yeah. Wow, man. That is good. That is beautiful.
Oh my god.
You
I don't
completed
even
that. You completed that. One the quotes. The one episode. You did that
oh,
correctly, and you did
except
this
for the part where
correctly.
you cheated me.
Uh Monster Minos. But
I survived my saw trap. I get to leave now.
you get to leave after this
Alright.
episode.
I'll see you after the episode? Okay,
After the episode,
I'll
yeah.
stick around for this, I guess.
All right, but before we get into it, I know we just did a great game here, but I do have an impression. I do remember I do impressions
Yeah, famously, yeah.
famously. I did what's his name? William Harper, not William Harper. William Butcher in that one episode, but
Yeah, Billy Butcher is his
Billy,
name, yes.
yes, Billy Butcher. But this right here, I want to do my Arnold Schwarzenegger if he was in the Saw Trap.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm ready.
Oh no, sorry. When he's waking up from a Saw Trap. Alright.
Okay.
All right. Why am I? Get me out of here! Thank you.
Oh, is it over?
Yeah, it's over.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, let's get into the let's get into Saw 10. Saw 10, which came out not early this year, about a month ago, September 29th of 2023. We do have some new cast members, of course. Let me list all the characters because this could be the last Saw film. So let me just read all of
Yeah,
them.
I'm very excited to hear you try to pronounce the name of one of the main women in this movie because I don't even know how to pronounce it. So,
All right, all right. So we got. Oh, excuse me.
oh my god, on the podcast.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. So the podcast. I'm fumbling right here. Okay, the cast. Thank you. Uh, the cast. So let me list all of them. Tobin Bell, the OG. John
Mhm.
Kramer. We got Shawnee Smith as Amanda Young.
Mhm.
We got Sinval Cody Ludd as Cecilia Peterson. We got Stephen Brand as Parker. Do you know where this guy is from? I know he's in a few movies, but I don't know. I don't remember.
He looked familiar when I was watching it, but
Yeah,
I couldn't place him. Uh, I'm looking
he,
at
yeah, he looks like Russell Crowe, but I know he's like in maybe like a cop movie or something. I don't know.
I will look into that while you read the rest of the list.
Okay, okay. So we got here, Ratata, not Ratata, Ritata Vaca as Gabriella. We got Joshua Komoto as Diego. We got Octavio Honosayo as Matayo, and I think Octavio Honosajoro as Matayo. He looks like CM Punk. Do you agree?
Maybe like ECW CM Punk.
Yeah. I can see
I
that.
can I can kind of see that, I guess.
Okay. But he has that beard. He has that, in his beard. I thought it was like AEW
Sure.
CM Punk. Um, we got Pauletta Hernandez as Valentina. We got George Priscino as Carlos, and I
I
think that
I think that's Jorge.
I'm so
I
sorry,
think that's how you
Jorge. You're right.
pronounce.
It's Jorge Priscino as Carlos, and I'll just bring here Izan Bo Hoon Lee as the custodian. So that is the cast. And you got any info on Stephen Brand?
Uh, he was in one episode of Castle, and I have watched Castle.
Oh,
That doesn't help anyone else, but
Castle on TNT.
was it? I don't know. It's the Nathan Fillion show.
Oh, okay, okay. Castle. I think it was on TNT or CBS.
It's an ABC show.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I know
He was
he was
Goof.
the rookie, right?
I
He
knew it
was
was on TV. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, yeah,
It was on
yeah,
TV.
yeah. But yeah, yeah, so although this movie is still in the theaters, uh we can still guess the stats here. Um for the budget, what do you think the budget was for this one?
Um, man, I don't know. Uh, I think they would have kept it low, but also movies are not just made more expensive now, but I'm gonna guess $20 million.
Oh, you're kind of high. It was 13 million.
That's kind of surprising.
Yeah. Box office, even though it's still in theaters, what do you think the box office is right now?
It's been in theaters for a month.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, $50 million.
Kind of low. It's right now it's $78 million. So I think
Oh,
it's still reaching up.
so it's made its money back for
It
sure,
did.
for sure.
It made his money back, and it's still in theaters. I saw the show times. It's just only showing one showtime in the theater, so it will probably be gone by next week.
Yeah, that's crazy how um I guess they released it at the end of September so that like all of October people would be going to
Yeah.
see. I guess that makes some kind of sense because if you release a horror movie on Halloween, you're going to have a huge Halloween night probably. Like
Hmm.
like Paranormal Activity used to release on Halloween and a couple of Saws like on Halloween or the week of Halloween or whatever. But once Halloween's over, that number's going to drop off. So I guess what they did here was like, oh, well, if we put it out at the end of September, all through October, everyone's going to be like, oh, a horror movie. Let's go see the new Saw movie.
Yeah,
And I guess it worked,
it did
kind of.
work.
Like if it has 70 something $1 million. Um, but it is kind of like a bummer to think like, it's Halloween. Let's go check out a Showtime. Oh, there's only one, and it's at like 4 p.m.
Yeah. But I think it's still good when if it's coming out late September. You have the whole month to watch it. I thought it was
at,
smart.
at least it came out close to Halloween and will technically be in theaters on Halloween because you look at all the other like Halloween type movies this year, like that Bad Exorcist movie came out not on
Yeah,
Halloween. Haunted Mansion came out in the middle of summer,
yeah,
but that movie's also bad. Uh, what else? Um, Dracula on a Boat, Last Voyage of the Demeter.
yeah,
That came out like summer as well. That could have been
yeah.
a Halloween movie.
Could have been.
So, at least Saw still came out in the fall.
Yeah. As they always do. But yeah, man. This is your first time watching it. I watched it when it came out on September 29th, and I rewatched it yesterday. But yeah, this is your first time watching it. What you thought? Your thoughts on this whole thing?
All right, we haven't talked about this yet. You're
Nope.
waiting with bated breath to hear my impressions
I
of Saw X.
I am excited.
Bro, I really like this movie.
Nice.
I, I
Nice.
I did. I really enjoyed it. There's a couple of hiccups in it that we'll talk about, like
Sure.
things that aren't quite right.
Sure.
Um, but overall, my biggest takeaway is I'm so glad we got this movie with so much Tobin Bell in it.
Yes.
This movie is like he is front and center the entire time.
Definitely.
It's not half something else and then half him in it. This is like his movie, and the fact that after what, like 15 years of playing Jigsaw and 10 Saw movies, like finally, like this feels like a swan song. Like
Definitely.
he's getting his flowers from the series finally, even though the series has been all about him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like we're getting one more. This is like John Cena in 2017,
Yeah,
how
yeah, 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 yeah.
how he
Yeah.
decided to actually start to learn how to wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so this one, so pretty much Saw 1, you don't really see him
Mhm.
throughout. I mean, you see him, but he's not acting as
Yeah,
well. Saw 2, you do see him for a bit.
yeah,
Saw 3, you do see him for a bit. Then after that, Saw 4, 5, 6, 7, Jigsaw, and then not even Spiral. You barely see
yeah.
him.
Yeah, it's a lot of voiceover or flashback or piranha.
Or Baseball
That
Cap.
backwards baseball cap, that's about it. He's not even in Spiral.
No.
Terrible. This one, all about him, and I loved every second of him. He's the GOAT, man.
Yeah, man. I can't believe it took this long
Ah,
for him to just, like be the main guy.
yeah,
But yeah, so let's get into so we usually do the traps right first and then the
yeah.
story. But
Mhm.
let's go throughout the whole movie because I think the traps are not that important in this one.
Well, yes, that's true, but also this will be the easiest movie we discuss because there's no cutting back and forth like story A, story B. We just follow one plot line all the way through.
Yeah.
And uh we both just watched this movie, so we're going to be able to discuss this a lot better
Yes.
than Spiral and Jigsaw.
Yeah, I apologize for those who are listening to Spiral and Jigsaw.
We had no idea what we were talking about.
Yeah, even though we saw the film, it's just
Yeah,
like, uh,
not very good, and also watched it 3 weeks ago.
yeah, that was on us. We'll do
Mhm.
better.
No, I won't. But but this one will be good.
This one will be good. All right, so let's get into the story. So basically, John. So this is between Saw 1 and Saw 2. John is going through the cancer, um, and he doesn't want to give up. He's telling that guy, his doctor's like, hey, just rest and just go for a walk. Don't do any work. He's like, dude, I had things to do, man. I can't give up. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you, man? So he was like,
He neglects
oh
to mention that his things to do are to put people in horrible traps
yeah,
to kill them. But
yeah,
he's right, yeah.
yeah. Well, this will lead up to the first trap, or kind of a first trap. So he saw this guy, this custodian, which his name is Custodian. He saw him like uh trying to reach for a watch or a wallet next to a guy who's being intubated. He's like what? He's kind of sick, and he's trying to steal from the guy's wallet or watch. And
Yeah.
Jigsaw was looking at him, and he's like, "Huh." And then he imagined what would you do to him, and that would become the eye vacuum trap. What do you thought about this trap?
Um So this one's odd. Okay, it's gonna be funny because we just started off saying like, "Oh, I like this movie. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk about it." And then we get to the first trap, and I'm like, "This kind of sucks, actually." Um, I don't really care that it didn't really happen. I don't really care that it's not like it's a dream sequence, basically.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me, um, as much as uh. So the idea is this guy was stealing from people
Yeah.
and John saw it. Oh, John saw.
Yeah.
And then stupid. And then
No, I like what you did there. It's good.
he's like um what is he had to turn the dial to break each of his fingers one at a
Yeah.
time. And if he did it within the time, then he would get out. But if not, the tape doesn't even say. It's just like, oh, you're gonna die. and he never even mentions the stuff that's like the tubes on his eyes. This thing is all over the posters, all over the
Yeah, yeah,
trailer.
yeah.
Like this is
Mhm.
like the thing that they sold this movie on,
Mhm.
kinda, as far as advertising goes. Um, and then spoilers, he doesn't make it, and then it just sucks his eyes out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that wouldn't have killed him.
No.
He would have
Uh,
just not had eyes.
no. Maybe he will, like, pass out or bleed out.
I don't think so.
Can you bleed out from your eyes?
I don't think. I mean, I'm not gonna challenge that. Like, there's probably a chance you could bleed out from anywhere.
Yeah,
But
that's true.
I don't know. Remember the guy in The Mummy?
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. He got his eyes taken away. He didn't die.
he didn't
Well, he
die.
died later, but
But
unrelated.
but yeah, I mean I think that's why it was like a dream sequence.
He was just working it out. He didn't know yet.
No, but then the custodian. So after the trap, the custodian saw Jigsaw,
Oh.
and he put back his belongings of that poor guy, and Jigsaw said, "Good choice."
Yeah, so from the custodian's point of view, he sees this guy in a coma or something, and he's like, "Awesome, I'm gonna rob this dude." Starts looking through his wallet, picks up his expensive watch, and then he turns around and he sees Tobin Bell staring at him from behind the door. And he's like, I wasn't gonna do anything." And he puts the watch back and he's like, tries to leave. And John stops him and he's like, "Hey, you were this close, buddy. This
This
close to
close.
getting your eyes sucked out of your head."
That would suck. I wouldn't. I would not. I don't want. I mean, it's a bad trap, but you don't want to be in it.
Yeah, I also think, and granted, it's a dream sequence, so it didn't matter. But I
Yeah.
also think it would have been one of the easier things to pass. Like, obviously, breaking your finger is gonna hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And obviously, breaking all 5 of your fingers on one hand, one after the other, that's gonna suck. But compare that to let's even compare it to stuff we see later in this movie, which I won't spoil yet.
Hmm.
Um, no, breaking your finger, I would do that to not get my eyes sucked out of my head.
Yeah, I'd rather do that too. I think it's the least painful out of the traps in this one.
Probably because your fingers can heal.
Yeah, they could heal, but yeah. But yeah, after that, so you see John in a like a cancer therapy support group, and they're just all discussing. John is just there
Yeah.
chilling. He knows this guy named Henry, who's
Mhm.
discussing his problems. And then time has passed. Henry met John at a coffee shop, and he told him about an outstanding treatment for his cancer, and he showed his scar. He was like, "Hey, dude, man, this worked for me. Hopefully, it worked for you." And
Mhm.
he gave him like a website called PetersonProject.net.
Yeah. It's important to know um at this point, like we kind of touched on it. John's doctor basically just said like you're going to die in 3 months. Like you're
Yeah,
not there's nothing we can do. Just give up and die peacefully. Is kind of how John interpreted what his doctor was saying. And then he doesn't want to die, not only because he doesn't want to die, but because he's got people to put in traps.
yeah, you got things to do.
We've seen the rest of the series. We know how many people he's got to put in traps.
He has,
Um
yeah,
so so yeah, so he bumps into this guy who he met at a cancer support group, and he shows him like he's like, "Look at this big old scar I've got. It's because people took out my bad cancer." What kind of cancer did he say he had?
uh, I want to say stomach cancer, like Astro.
Was it pancreatic? Someone had pancreatic cancer in this movie, but I don't remember.
I think it was him. Has to be him.
Anyways, he's like, "Go check out this lady. She's gonna do some miracle medicine on you. Get that cancer right out of your head." and John is all for it. He's like,
He
let's go, let's do
yeah,
this.
he has hope. He went home, he did his, like, research, he went on YouTube. Was YouTube around, like, between Saw 1 and Saw 2?
Saw 1 was 2003,
4? 3?
2004.
Yeah, 2004, so YouTube started, like, 2005, so I guess that's about right, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he went on YouTube, he was searching on the project and, like, see what's going on, and then he submitted his request for the treatment.
hmm
And because he thinks, like, he could save his life. I never seen Happy Tobin Bell in this one.
I loved Happy Tobin Bell in this.
Yeah, we all do.
He was so sweet and happy, and I if this was just a movie, not even a movie, if this was just like a 45-minute video of Tobin Bell curing his cancer and being happy and making friends along the way, I would have left the theater with a big old smile on my face.
Yeah, I'll be
But
happy
instead,
too.
it turned into a Saw movie. But I still had a big old smile on my face, especially at one part at the end. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah. I also noticed that he has a beard in this one. So in the first film, he has a soul patch. This one has a beard, and
Mhm.
then the second one, Saw 2, he was clean shaved. So he was going through the phases. Um,
He was kind of going through a lot mentally in this one, so it makes sense.
yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, he submitted the request, and then he got a call by Cecilia, and like, "Hey, man, I think you're the perfect candidate for this. The thing is, we're in Mexico. We're excluded from, the area because we're like more of a private type of thing."
She
And
says like if Big Pharma finds us, they're gonna shut us down or they're gonna kill us or something. She says like
oh,
we gotta hide.
there's a reason why.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so he was telling her, I have like 3 months to live, and so, like, you know what? Let's go to Mexico. And then when he got to Mexico, I don't know why they kept doing this. I think in every show, Mexico always looks like pee.
Oh, that we put the yellow filter.
Yeah.
Did Breaking Bad start that, or did something else do that first?
I feel like Breaking Bad started that.
Because I rewatched Breaking Bad recently, and first of all, Breaking Bad is one of the best shows to ever be on television.
It is the
Breaking
greatest show of all time. That's my
Breaking
opinion.
Bad and Better Call Saul, both amazing, amazing television.
Yeah.
The screen is so yellow when they go to Mexico. It is like blindingly yellow, and
Hate
why are they doing this?
so hazy, pea yellow. Does not look good.
I noticed that too. They really only in this movie. They really only do it when he first gets there.
Yeah.
Like technically, the whole movie from here on out happens in Mexico, and that yellow filter does disappear.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I can confirm. To anyone listening, I have been to Mexico. It's not
Oh,
yellow.
no. I've been to Cosmo, Mexico too. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
blue ocean. But yeah, recommend Mexico. But yeah, so a cab driver picked him up. His name was Diego. We'll find out
Mhm.
later.
That's the guy. He's the reason I won my test.
Shout out to Diego.
Shout out to
Um,
Diego. Hey, especially we'll talk more about Diego in a minute. Shout out, he's like an MVP in this movie.
um, yeah, I think so. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
But yeah, so Diego was like, "Hey, man, look at all this touristy place." Ha ha ha, pretty much. And then
yeah.
he went to this excluded place, and then a van showed up, and they're like, and they're wearing masks. They're like, "Hey, are you John Kramer?" No, they're asking, "What's his name?" John Kramer. Like, "Are you sure?" It's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
dude."
they're pointing guns at him too.
Y-
Like they jump out of the van and they're like, "Get out of the car!" and they're pointing guns at his face. And I was watching at this point, and I was like, "Oh God, this is Mexico."
Yeah. So they took him, and they brought him to the facility, and he opened the door, and Gabriella showed up, and she's like, "Hey, they can really help you pretty much." And then John, still has a lot of hope. Um, then he meets what's her face, Cecilia Peterson, the doctor
Yeah.
of this whole thing, and she was showing him around throughout the whole place. And then we see Carlos, who was just kicking a soccer ball
Oh,
outside.
little boy Carlos.
Little boy Carlos, he's just
It is.
kicking.
It is at this point where you're John is like being led through the facility, and you're seeing like, oh, this is this doctor, or oh, this is the lady that owns the house. Like characters with names start popping up, and and you remember like, oh wait, this is a Saw movie.
Yeah.
Characters with names, they're gonna go in a in a trap.
Exactly.
And anyone who saw the trailer for this movie knew like what was the quote unquote twist that's coming up. Like we all knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm wondering would the movie have been better if they didn't advertise that?
To be honest, I never saw. Did that first trailer showed it? I don't remember.
I distinctly remember there was a trailer that laid out. What should I just say it now, or should we just
No, 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 no,
continue?
no.
Okay,
Let's just keep it in.
okay, let's keep going then.
All right, all right.
But at this point, I knew what was up
To be honest,
because of the trailer.
I don't think I saw that trailer, but I was surprised. I was like, okay, makes after that happened, I was like, okay, then that
Mhm.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, they are. Anyways, so where we are. Yeah, so Peterson is showing the lab, the area of work where they're gonna do the procedure. Everything looks promising, and then he met Parker. Did he went through like a throat cancer, something like that?
Yeah, that's what it was. He had some sort of surgery on his neck for some sort of tumor removal.
Yeah, I think John Kramer said, "Oh, what do you have?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got something in my
Cancer.
throat." Yeah, yeah, he's like, "I got cancer." And
Cancer.
then
Okay.
and then Parker said to him like, "What about you?" He's like, "Brain."
Uh,
Yeah, so then they're Peterson and Celia Peterson and John Kramer just hanging out, and they're discussing like, "Hey, man, what do you do?" And he's like, "Hey, I'm a engineer, and like, and also help out people." And she's like, "Oh, like a life coach?" And he's like, "Something like
kind of.
that." Yeah, something like
He
that.
he smiles like the Grinch, and he's like a little bit.
Yeah. Everyone in my theater was laughing on that scene.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. But yeah, so the next morning he woke up and it was very blue. I like the scenery.
Mhm.
Blue, and then you see John looking at Carlos trying to fix his bike, and John was trying to help his bike. His tire was like messing up, and he asked him how to say pull. How do you say pull? And
Yeah.
Carlos said holla. This is very important to know.
Yeah. This is a
Um,
great scene also.
yeah,
It's very simple. It's very there's not much to it other than like if you just look at it on the surface level, just oh, our main character is being nice to a kid. But our main character is Jigsaw. And throughout the entire Saw series, we always like we know that he only puts you in a trap if you deserve it or if you call out from work one time. Um
oh yeah.
but 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 to see him actually be a nice human being to a child,
I love it.
it adds, whether it be retroactively or not, it adds like a whole nother dimension to actually see John be a good person,
Yeah.
even though we know he's a terrifyingly evil person.
Uh, I want to say evil, but he's giving people an option. I want to say it's evil.
He is okay. Maybe the word evil doesn't work because if he was evil, he'd do it to innocent people.
Yeah.
But
He's kind of sick in
man,
the head.
he's nasty.
Yeah, yeah. I guess he's misunderstood. I think that's a good way to phrase it.
No, I understand him.
Yeah.
Um, he's
It's hard to explain him.
He's an enigma.
Yes, very
He's
nice.
he's the bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Yeah, he's like in the gray area. He's like
Oh,
he's an anti-hero.
he could be on the Suicide Squad.
Oh, well, Will Smith?
Sure.
No, I only mentioned that because Chris Rock. Um,
Oh, the
eh,
Will Smith connection.
yeah, that's why I said that.
All right.
What if Will Smith wasn't Spiral? Anyways,
Then he would have punched Chris Rock.
exactly. um, but yeah, so he helped out Carlos with his wheel. He's like, holla, holla.
Mm.
So now he's going through the treatment, and but yeah, what's your thoughts on this scene?
The treatment scene, the surgery, the him.
Yeah, the surgery scene.
Well, for reasons we'll get to, we don't really see much other than him uh having the anesthetic and like passing out.
Yes,
And
there's
they
yeah,
show like on the screen on the
hmm
monitor, you see some brain activity.
yeah, you see some brain activity, but he was looking at it, and then one of the nurses like kind of like hid the monitor away.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, huh, what's going on? But he fell asleep.
Mhm.
But and he woke up. John wakes up a few days later, and Peterson was giving him the medical records, like, "Hey, your levels is normal. You're pretty much, cured." And
He's
yeah,
also adding to the suspicion. He's also in a different location.
yeah,
Like they brought him. They didn't show him where the whole point of the van was so like nobody's allowed to know where this facility is.
hmm
So you get him to this like mansion facility, whatever, and then he does his stuff, and then when he wakes up after his surgery, he's not there anymore. He's like, okay, you can leave. So he still doesn't know where he was,
yeah,
which leads to something really cool after this scene.
yeah. So, well, let me touch back to when he woke up. It kind of reminded me when Frodo woke up during the Return of the King, when he finished uh, destroying Mordor, and he's like waking up. That kind of reminded me of that.
Okay,
Yeah, it was like when when you see Sam and Legolas and Aragorn come in, and
Legolas.
Legolas and Gimli, and I always
It's
remember. Yeah.
it's probably more like when he woke up in Fellowship of the Ring after he got stabbed and Liv
Oh
Tyler
yes,
took him to Rivendell.
exactly.
Closer to that because after that we're approaching a moment where John's like, "Oh, I will take the ring to Mordor."
Boom. Exactly. But yeah, so John, he thinks he got his life back. He's drinking coffee. He paid about $250K for this treatment, which is a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, that's more money than I'll ever see.
Yeah. Well, you never know one day.
Fingers
Uh,
crossed.
yeah, so he's chilling, he's enjoying Mexico. He bought some wine. He want to go back to the facility for, I think it's for Gabriella.
Yeah, he had some sort of like nice connection with the girl whose family owned the house,
Yeah.
Gabriella. So he wanted to thank her. And what he does is, as we've mentioned, he doesn't know where this house is, but he remembers when he was there, he saw like a radio tower.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then he sees that radio tower from a different angle, a different location, and he like uses geometry and like coordinates to be like, "Oh, so the house is over there." Like he
Mhm.
maps it out on paper and then goes there, and I thought that was the coolest thing.
Yeah, he used his engineering skills to find out where the location was.
Yeah, I thought that was
Um,
sick.
Very nice. But yeah, so he
The
came by, and then
the
he
coolest thing,
realized.
let me
Yeah,
just
go
say
ahead.
one more thing about that. The coolest thing about it is
Mhm.
they didn't make a big deal out of it. Like
No,
you
they
just
didn't.
see him doing it and he's just like, "Oh, whatever." He's like not there's no like epic music playing, or
Mm-mm.
he's not saying what he's doing. He's just like, "Oh, I remember that. So that means that the house is over there." And then he just goes, and it was so cool.
Yeah, I liked it. It kind of reminds me of like in not Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, when you think he's doing when we think he's doing something, but he's not telling us, but he's doing his plan, and then we find out later what he was doing. It's kind of like that. Um,
Trying to think what part of Better Call Saul you're referring to.
like any episode, to be honest, like when he's like
When
developing a
when he was
plan.
when he was mean to the old ladies.
Oh, exactly. That
I don't
especially that
like
one.
that. I don't like that scene. I can't watch that scene.
Um, but yeah, so he went back to the facility or the house, and he noticed that it looked like it's empty and looks like people are like crashed in.
Yeah,
Uh,
at first it looks like someone broke in and like stole stuff.
yeah, yeah, it looks like a raid. And then he went to the area of work where he was, got his surgery, and it's all trashed, and things are getting a little sus because
Mm.
he checked the computer and it looks like it was just a recording of brain surgery, like a training video.
It was like a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah. Oh, like, exactly. Yeah.
The footage he saw that at first he thought was his brain was just like a tape of a brain.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's like, "Man, what the hell?" And then he was looking at the mirror, and he ripped out his bandage, a head
And
bandage,
yeah,
and he looked behind his head. There was no
nothing.
cut, nothing, and I mean, like in surgery, you're supposed to like shave your head. If you're doing brain surgery, you gotta shave your whole head, right?
Mm-hmm.
His hair was still there.
Yeah,
There's no cut on the back of his head, and then we realized that they scammed him.
absolutely.
They absolutely scammed him, and he is pissed off. Pissed off. Yeah.
Yeah. When we talked about Jigsaw,
Hmm.
I mentioned that one thing I didn't like about that movie was how there were a handful of characters that were like directly tied to John, like you sold my nephew a bike and it killed him.
Right.
So now you're going in a trap. Or you were my neighbor and you did something bad, you're going in a trap. Um maybe I'm gonna sound like a hypocritical ass, but
Sure.
uh this the rest of the movie is based on revenge, and he says it's not,
Hmm.
but he's lying. And
Yeah.
I don't even think he knows that he's lying, and I don't even think the movie knows he's lying, but he's lying because come on. Um
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is all about. I mean, they scammed him. I mean, of course
No,
he'll
yeah, I
just.
get it.
Yeah.
I do love the idea, and I think the reason why I didn't like it in that movie, but I like it in this movie is just the concept of um you know, you stole from somebody. Oh god, it was Michael Myers. You know? Like you ripped someone off. Jesus Christ, it was Jigsaw. That's great.
Literally to the worst person.
Yeah. And
But
they even
yeah,
say that. They even say that like exact line basically.
exactly. I mean, people do like, they go out of the country, out of like the United States and go to a different country for like surgeries and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty normal, but but this could happen though. This could happen.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
uh,
yeah.
uh this movie kind of made me think of how a lot of times, and this is more wrestling talk, but like a
Sure.
wrestler will wrestle in WWE their whole life,
Mhm.
and then they'll be let go from WWE or they'll want to leave WWE.
Mhm.
Basically, they leave the biggest wrestling company in America They're like, okay, well now what do I do? Well, you go wrestle in Japan or you go wrestle in Mexico. That's what Jigsaw did in this movie. He's like,
Perfect.
I'm on the Mexican Indies. I gotta I gotta go try some stuff out in Mexico.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, he's doing his indie stuff before he comes back to the main
Yeah,
show.
absolutely.
But yeah, so now he has to target each of those people who did him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So it leads up to the first trap. So he pretty much kidnapped the driver, or he was also a surgeon, Diego,
Yeah.
and
Well,
this
a
uh
pretend surgeon.
yeah, pretend surgeon, and this one is called the pipe bomb trap. What do you thought about this one?
This one's pretty good. It's very simple. He sewed a whole bunch of pipe, not just sewed, like wired in, like really attached uh pipe bomb to each of his arms.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't cut the cables. You have to cut away the flesh.
Yeah,
Um, and it was nasty.
pretty nasty. He was like, let me go, John, and John's just staring at him. Um, and he was also like the blades was on his fist, so he gotta dig it out through the his
Yeah,
flesh so he could rip out the bomb. And
yeah.
it does look very gnarly when he was kept doing it, but he escaped. He got rid of one bomb and got rid of the other bomb.
There, there were a couple points with this trap, and at least one of the traps later where I've complained about digital blood before.
Yeah,
I think there was some in here. I've
a
only
little
watched the
bit.
movie once, but uh, I I guess digital blood has come a long way. I still don't approve of it,
Uh huh.
um, because but I think it's at the point where it's just like, oh, was that digital? It looked a little funky.
Maybe in the beginning, I thought it was like they're using prosthetics towards the end of this trap at
Well,
least.
they definitely did both.
Yeah.
So there's that. It's not like it's not like Saw 4
No.
where
Oh my god. Yeah, that was pretty
he's
bad.
like stabbing the guy at the beginning and just like little cartoon blood starts flying around. That's my point is if they use digital blood here, which I feel like they did at points, it didn't look horrible.
Yeah, it
It looked
was.
off because whenever
Uh,
you do that, it's gonna look a little off. But
yeah.
it whatever.
But yeah, so Diego survived, and I think that's the last time we saw Diego.
Yeah, Diego survived. That's why I said he's the MVP.
Sure,
He
sure.
he at one point even like ripped a pipe bomb off of his arm with his teeth
Yeah.
and he kicked it away. And then John walks up to and I love that John he's just like, you did this horrible thing to me. Now you have to cut all this skin off your arm, all this muscle off your arm. And then as soon as he did it, John's like, I'm so proud of you, little man. You've done it. I'm gonna get you to the hospital.
Perfect. And the trap was called Pipe Bomb, another CM Punk reference.
Oh, CM Punk's all over this movie.
Yeah, man. He might come back in Survivor Series November 24th, but that's back. I digress, as Taz say. Um, but yeah, so after this trap, John called a detective for some assistance, and we'll find out who that guy is later on.
Well, I mean, we know. I mean, yes, they don't say it. He just says, "Detective, I need your help." But like, if you know anything about this series, you're like, "Oh, I know who he just called."
Yeah, but for the people who don't remember, he calls somebody.
People who don't remember. I thought you almost said people who don't know, and it's like, well, then the payoff won't do anything.
No, I didn't say that.
Um, he only hangs out with one detective.
uh, no, if you remember Jigsaw, he hanged out with that doctor. He was his apprentice.
Detective.
Oh, let's move on. So yeah, so pretty much everyone who was part of the whole thing was getting kidnapped. For example, Gabriella was in the bathroom. She got kidnapped from there. Um, who else was there? Matayo, CM Punk, got kidnapped. He was a veterinarian, which is
Mhm.
he is a doctor, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, he got kidnapped there at his place, and Valentina was about to be
She was
um
doing something.
she was doing something, but
A
the guy,
lady of the night.
yeah, they got her as well, and then the
I will say, I
final,
will say, I will say. Okay, in the
mhm,
scene where Valentina gets kidnapped,
yeah,
she is with a potential customer,
sure.
a John as they call them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Um, and this guy decides he doesn't want to pay, and then he throws her in the car, and he's gonna do something that
Yeah.
should definitely get him in a trap.
Yes.
But we never see him again. I thought for a second, like, because if you're Jigsaw and
Yeah.
you're like, I've got this person, I gotta put him in a trap, and then you see another person trying to R-word somebody,
Yeah.
that's like, oh, 2 for 1. I'll take them both. Might as
Uh,
well.
yeah,
But he
but
didn't. I guess he just left that guy. He was in a
no,
hurry. He's like, I'm in Mexico. I can't do it.
but he got hit in the head with a brick or something.
I guess that's enough. I
uh,
guess.
yeah, Valentina got kidnapped as well, and then the last person who got kidnapped was the main person, Cecilia Peterson. And to be honest, man, this movie's supposed to take place between 2004 and like 2005,
Uh-huh.
but her house,
Uh-huh.
it looked too modern, and her
Yeah.
TV looked like an LCD TV. So I was like,
Well, she's very rich.
right, right,
She's
but
been she's been scamming people for a while. She takes like $250,000 per person.
right, right, but when did LCD TVs were first launched, if you remember?
I don't know. Um, maybe
Because
maybe
that
maybe
does not
way
look like
earlier.
plasma,
Maybe way earlier in Mexico.
I guess. And then
Although I
like,
doubt it.
uh, well, I know plasma was a big thing back then.
Yeah.
And then her house, how it looks is like she has like uh glass windows throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
But I
she had
thought,
a skylight too.
yeah, so I thought it did not fit where they are in the year between 2004 and 2005, but it's
Yeah.
okay. It's
It's
okay.
it's kind of the thing, and we'll get to a little bit more of this in a second, where uh John is very clearly like 15 years older than the last time we saw him,
Yeah.
and he was in Saw 2 or 3. It was just like John looks older, and the next person that shows up.
Yeah, so before we said that, they I don't know who dropped in. I'm sure it was that other person, but they got her in the car, they tranquilized her, and John removed his mask, and then the next person in front of the car,
Yeah, it's because at this point, while everyone else is being kidnapped, you only see one person in a pig mask at a time.
yeah,
Uh, but then at this point, Cecilia is like running away from a pig mask person, gets in her car, and then there's another pig mask person in the car, tranks her, and that one's John, which is like, oh, that means that the other one, and of course, it was Amanda.
Amanda Young. So she traveled to Mexico for this.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's like you calling your tag team partner.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of wrestling references. Hopefully, everyone knows
That's
that.
I'm sorry, I can't stop.
I know. I mean, wrestling is life. I
It's
mean,
in my blood. I can't stop.
yeah. But yeah, so they kidnapped all those guys and then put them in one. I don't know if it's like a what were they? They were like in a big like industrial place.
Oh, they're in
Oh,
the same facility.
oh, was they? Okay.
They
Okay,
were
that
in
that makes
yeah,
sense.
that was the mansion. He took them all back to where they pretended to do the surgery on him.
That makes sense. Makes sense because I
Uh,
was not thinking that. Um,
what I was mentioning earlier about how like Tobin Bell looks older.
yeah.
Well, Shawnee Smith definitely looks older. She
Oh
looks
yes.
I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way. Everybody ages, you know?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing like if you watch and we referenced Breaking Bad earlier, but you watch Breaking Bad and
Oh
then you
man.
watch El
But
Camino, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How like Jesse looks
Jesse,
way older and Todd looks
Todd,
way different.
very
But
different.
it's one of those things where it doesn't it's noticeable, but it doesn't bother me because A, I understand how aging works. I know how time works. That doesn't bother me.
Hmm.
And B, it's just like, well, what are your other options? If you're setting this movie before Saw 2, and you want Shawnee Smith to be Amanda again, or you want the character Amanda to show up because she would be there, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, our options are just have her be in the movie, and that's it, or we digitally de-age her,
Hmm.
which, first of all, this movie didn't have the budget for that,
No.
and second of all, is that even necessary? And then
No.
the last thing is you recast her, but
Yeah.
that defeats the purpose. You want her to come back, then have her come back. You know what I mean? It's I
I,
don't think I don't think like worrying about oh she looks older. I don't think that matters.
yeah. I mean, I thought it was okay. I mean, it wasn't noticeable. Because she had the wig on as well.
Okay, let's talk about that. I don't care that she looks older because of everything I've just said, right?
Hmm.
However, they gave her the worst hair I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Okay, so in the first Saw movie, she had long hair, right?
If I yeah, she did. And then yes, in Saw 2, she had like a pixie cut.
Yeah,
And
like,
that's what they're trying to emulate here?
or maybe she was going through the process of the pixie cut.
I have no idea. If I can reference one of your favorite movies of all time, she looked
Sure.
like Simple Jack.
Oh, oh, damn. Yeah. I mean, that's not the movie, but Tropic Thunder. But yeah, Simple Jack. Um, sure. Yeah, I can see that. Dang, that movie should not be made if it was gonna happen. But yeah, sure. But come on, don't you gotta give some respect
No,
to
I love Amanda.
Amanda.
Come on. I'm happy she's here. I'm happy
Yeah.
Shawnee Smith is here.
Um,
They just gave her terrible hair. It happens.
it happens. It happens. But yeah, so they got everyone at the same place. Uh, you see Valentina between like a wire. You see
Mm.
Cecilia by like uh like a she was on the side, and same
Most
with
everyone
Gab.
else is just like chained up,
Yeah,
but Valentina, she's clearly in the trap already.
yeah, she's in the trap, and John came by. He's like, "Hey guys, you guys know what you did?" And they're like, "No, we're trying to help you."
Yeah,
But
they tried to continue the lie.
come on,
I guess you would, wouldn't you, if you're in that situation?
I guess. But then what's his name? Mateo was like, "It was all her fault. It wasn't me."
Ah, he snitched.
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
um,
you know, I said earlier, like this is clearly a revenge-driven thing,
yeah,
and arguments can be made, and I will make that argument that it still is a revenge-driven thing, or else he wouldn't have made a point to do it the way he did it. But another interesting thing about the John character is even if revenge was factored in, at no point did he ever lose his cool.
yeah,
He never lost his temper. He never raised his damn voice.
no.
He's just like, you know what you did. You know why you're here.
But yeah, he was pretty much saying to them like, yeah, what's worse, this or you guys giving false hope to cancer patience. I think he's right. If you're giving like uh like false
Yeah.
hope to people who are needing to have a treatment or like want to
Mhm.
survive, I think that is the worst
Yeah.
trap.
Uh, another really, really, really cool thing about this movie is all the other Saw movies that have a group of people, uh,
Hmm.
they like that would be Saw 2, Saw 5, Jigsaw, right? Those are the ones.
Uh, yeah,
So, with the exception of Saw 2, because like it's pretty clear very early on, they're like, "Oh, we've all been to prison or whatever."
yeah.
But Saw 5 and Jigsaw, it's like, "Oh, why are we here? What have we done?" And it's like revealed as we go on, like, "Oh no, you're all terrible people." But the
Hmm.
fact that they're in a saw trap, we know they're terrible people, so it's like whatever. It's really cool in this one to see what the people do to deserve to be in the trap first,
Yeah, yeah.
and then you're put in there, and you're like, "Yeah, get him, John, get him, put him in the trap."
Yeah, like for example, Diego was the driver.
Mm,
He survived his trap. You see Valentina, she was one of the nurses. Gabriella, she was part of like the whole thing. She wasn't really part of the surgery thing, but she
yeah.
was part of like welcoming in. You see Mateo, what was he
But
doing? What
uh, what
was
do
he a
you?
surgeon?
I mean, none of them were surgeons.
I mean, pretending to
He
be a
was
surgeon.
pretending to be a surgeon. Yeah, he was in the room.
Yeah. And then of course Pearson was controlling the whole thing. But yeah, it is really nice to see that sequence. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so yeah, let's after John's speech, it's time for the first trap in the con artist game, as they say, and this is called Valentina's trap is called the wire saw trap. So, what's your thoughts on this one?
This one was pretty. I mean, if you think about it, it's classic Saw.
Sure.
What she has to do is cut her leg off.
Yeah.
And that's you don't get more classic than that in Saw. Um, she was cutting the leg. We've seen people cut. Like, we've seen Gordon cut his foot off with like an actual like bone saw,
Yeah.
and we've seen limbs get ripped off and whatever. The saw she's using here is, and he even says in the film, it's called a Jigili saw,
Yes.
and it's essentially like a sharp wire, and you're
Hmm.
using the wire to cut through stuff. And watching her use that, it was a different kind of gnarly. It was like, ooh, um,
Yeah.
I liked that quite a bit. She had, what was it, 3 minutes? I
Yeah. About
think I
3 minutes.
think I think she was given 3 minutes to. She had to cut her leg off, and then use a little device to get marrow out of the bone, out of her femur.
Yeah.
And uh, once she did like got a certain amount to like release a lock or something, then she could leave. Um, I was doing okay with this one
Sure.
until that marrow started coming out,
Yeah.
and
It
then
was
I
like
was like,
white.
"Ugh."
Yeah. It was red and white. Oh man.
I didn't know marrow was that color. I
Oh
guess
yeah. It can. It can be.
that's nasty. Also the idea of, I mean, her cutting her leg off is one thing, but the idea of her sticking a little device in like the cut femur bone
Yeah, that
is
also hurts too.
ooh.
Also, when she was ripping her leg off, you can hear it, like
Mhm.
going back and forth.
Mhm. Mhm.
But she had like what 5 seconds left, but
Sh-
timer ran out.
it was a buzzer beater and she just didn't make it. That's
Mm,
so rough.
It is, and the little wires coming to her neck, and then it chopped her head and her leg off at the same time, it reminded me of like Toy Story, where like Annie's coming and then everyone fell down.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like that.
Um, Here's one question I'll ask though.
Yeah.
Could she have gotten out of that? Like,
Um.
like, cause she's like she sat up, and there's the wire that's on a device that's going to like tighten and cut her head off.
Yeah.
But it didn't look too. I feel like if she had just slumped down, could have just
I
left.
I'm looking at the picture right now. It looks like her chin is over the wire. So I don't think she'll if she's gonna do that, she's gonna get some scratches on her face.
Sure. And you know what? I'm inclined to not care because, as we know, you break the rules, what happens?
You die. Um.
And also Amanda probably would have come in and like pistol whip her or something.
Probably. But I think she could survive that. But I think she'll lose a lot of blood when her leg is off.
Well, she did wrap a belt around it to tourniquet,
Yeah.
so there is that.
All right.
She
Um.
almost did it. I was kind of shocked how close she was getting, considering that we just watched Diego succeed in his trap. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
there's no way she can succeed too, and then she didn't.
No, she didn't. She's based on her body, her head, her leg is on the floor in pieces. Pretty. It looked pretty. Um. Not scary, but it looks
Silly.
not silly, but it looks like damn, she got messed up.
She did. She got messed up.
Yeah. So after her trap, so Jigsaw and Amanda were upstairs in like another room, and Amanda was like not feeling it. She was saying like Cecilia Peterson deserved what happened to her, not like to these other people. And John is like, dude, everyone has a chance. No, she was saying like Cecilia should deserve to die instead of all these guys.
Yeah.
And John is like, dude, everyone should have a chance. Just like you, man. You should know all about it, sister.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think she really cared about Valentina, and I don't think she cared about Mateo, and she clearly wanted Cecilia dead. Her connection was to the Gabriella character
Yeah.
because Gabriella had a drug addiction that we learned
Yes.
about, which is obviously it parallels Amanda's drug addiction. So she's like, I don't know, she sees something like
She sees herself in her.
yeah, and it's like to the point where I'm sure seeing her go through a trap isn't easy because she knows what it's like to be through a trap.
Yeah.
So,
Do you think Gabriella deserved to be in this?
yeah, she took the money.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. But she's a young dumb kid.
um, right, but she helped scam an old man out of all of his money and then not cure his cancer and then took the money and used it to buy drugs. You're
Yeah.
going in a saw trap for that. There's no two ways about it.
No, sir. But yeah, when John Kramer and Amanda were talking, Cecilia, she had a thought because the cell phone there's a cell
Mm.
phone in the middle of the where they at and on the tray. And they're like, all right, let's get that cell phone. And this is a little crazy. So she kind of she got the body of Valentina. She flipped her over. She ripped her stomach out, got the intestines.
All
And,
while the other two people, mostly Mateo, is like, don't do that. That's don't do that. Stop doing what you're doing, please. It's horrible. She doesn't
oh,
listen to a dang word he's saying.
So she grabbed. Is it a small or large intestines? I
I
think large or
believe
small.
I believe it's the small intestines. I'm
They're
not gonna
longer,
pretend. Yeah, I think that is correct. It's like something outlandish, like 200 yards or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, she got the small intestines. She kind of whipped the tray around to Gabriella, and she got like the full length. And then she was had two on two hands. She got the intestines, and she was dragging the tray.
Okay,
And
well, 200 yards is 2 football fields. It's not that,
oh, okay,
but
okay,
but
okay.
it is 22 feet,
It's
which
very
is a
long.
lot. Yeah, remember that scene in Machete where he takes
Yes.
that guy's intestines and swings through the window?
Yeah.
That's great. That's cool. All right, continue.
But yeah, so she grabbed the tray to her with the small intestines, and Amanda looks nasty. Um,
Mhm.
she grabbed the cell phone. It looked like a Nokia phone. I'm not sure, but she calls someone, and we'll find out who that is. But
The
then,
large intestines are 5 feet.
oh,
So yeah, the small are definitely.
it has to be small.
Mhm.
But yeah, she was calling some guy or some person, and then Amanda shocked her. Her classic, where Amanda shocks people all the time.
Yeah.
That's what she does. Uh,
Does she?
yeah,
John did it.
John did it. I think Amanda shocks people too.
John John shocked Adam in the first movie.
Yeah,
I don't remember Amanda ever shocking anybody.
maybe the third one.
No, definitely not in the third one. I think you're
All
just wrong.
right, so this is the first time she shocked someone. I feel like she did.
If Amanda shocked someone before this, leave a comment.
Please go on
Tell me I'm wrong.
Spotify. Yeah, go on Spotify QA. Let us know. Um, but yeah, so that happened. Things passed by, and then Parker. You guys remember Parker is the guy with the throat cancer. He came
Yeah.
by to the facility, and he wants his money from Peterson.
Yeah,
Um,
he's banging on the door being like, "You scammed me. Let me in."
yeah, let me in. He got in. He got, I guess, kidnapped again.
Well,
Kidnapped.
he came in and he shot someone in a pig mask, but it wasn't a real person. It was like, I don't know,
It's like a dummy.
couple buckets with Valentina's head on top. Uh, and then yeah, then Amanda got him.
Yeah.
He wakes up and Amanda and John kind of like come in and talk to him and being like, "Oh, you got ripped off? I got ripped off too, and look what I'm doing. Check this out. By the way, I'm Jigsaw."
Yeah. He was showing what's going on. He's like, "What the hell is wrong with you people?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm doing what needs to be done." Uh, I think Parker said to him like, "Yeah, you guys are killing these people," and Kramer's like, "No, we don't kill.
He doesn't. He's like, "No, no, I didn't do it.
Yeah, we don't
They did
kill."
it."
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, we don't kill," and that means I'm Batman because that's my rule. I don't kill. Um, but yeah, so let's get into it. So the next trap is the brain surgery trap. And the way this one started, we find out Billy he rolled up with the uh, the surgery equipment for what's his name, Mateo.
Yeah.
What you thought about this trap, man?
This one was okay. There's a problem with this one. And the problem is, so the basis of the trap is he needs to cut open his head
Hmm.
and scoop out a little bit of his like brain's gray matter
Yeah,
and drop it in a little thing, and once it dissolves in that solution, then he can get out.
yeah.
Um, there's actually a couple of problems with this, but the biggest one, the one I'm going to talk about first, is um, we talked at length about how good the brain surgery scene in Saw 3 is,
Yes.
and that's all I could think about was how this scene is not that scene.
No, no, no.
He just kinda stabs himself with his little saw in his head, Then he lumps the little skull on the ground.
He
And then
wiggles it too. Like,
yeah, and then his brain's just kind of there. But in Saw 3, there's like that part where they like peel back the membrane.
oh man.
Yeah, Saw 3 killed this scene real bad. So,
Yeah.
uh, and then, I mean, not to jump too far ahead with this trap, but uh, it ends the same way that the Valentina trap does, where
Yes.
he's done the thing, he's almost done it, the timer runs out first, like by like a second, and then he dies. And it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, well, again, we just saw that.
Yeah, we just saw that. The way he died is there's like two freaking heat metal. I don't know what you call it. It's like a stove,
They're
basically,
like
pretty much.
iron. Yeah, they're like heated iron things. Looks like a toaster.
Yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, it's like a toaster, and then it sandwiches his face, and then he died from that.
And
Uh,
it's in the shape of that little statue that was referenced earlier.
by
The
Diego.
Diego is like,
Yes.
"Oh, we bring people to this statue because it's about something." I don't remember what he said. It was something gruesome.
Yeah. Oh, like they sacrifice the humans by taking out their like the heart or something.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
really know what the burning his face off had to do with that, but
you
whatever.
think Jigsaw took the sculpture from the outside and put it in this trap?
Oh, like he stole the real one?
Yeah.
No. I think he carved it himself by hand.
Mm. That took a long time.
He's a very committed man.
Yes. But I do like at the beginning of this trap where Billy the puppet came by and you see like a get different camera angle of his back. He's like, going back and forth, like, wee wee wee.
And it was like watching Kermit the Frog ride that bicycle. How are they
Yes.
doing that?
I don't know. It's pretty cool though. Unless someone's in that puppet. But
No.
uh but yeah, so after that, Gabriella. Also, I do hate every time someone's going through the traps, freaking Cecilia Peterson is like, "Hey, you can do it. You got this." I'm like, "Shut the hell up. You literally put these guys in this trap." Um yeah, I did not like her one bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get after that. I don't think anything happened except for the next trap, which is the Gabby's trap, Gabriella's trap, which is the radiation trap. What do you thought about this one?
Um this one, where's John getting this stuff?
I don't know. You got the radiation machine.
I know John can build anything.
I think
He
so. Did
he it was so big. It was like GLaDOS from Portal. It was hanging on the ceiling and he can
it
like
doesn't?
control it somehow. I don't know. It's a giant radiation gun, basically, like a
Hmm.
an ionizing radiation thing. And I don't know the science behind nuclear radiation. Um,
I don't either.
but what this movie tells us is, hey, this thing's gonna keep like
Burning you up.
burning you away until you escape. So what Gabrielle is chained by one wrist
Hmm.
and one ankle.
Yeah.
Uh and she's given like a big old hammer, and she needs to break her wrist and break her ankle to
Yep.
escape. That's all she's got to do, and all she got to do. It's still rough. I think John. It's gonna sound silly considering how like horrifically burned she was by the end of this.
Hmm.
I think he softballed her on this one. I think he went a little easy.
Okay.
She didn't have to cut nothing off. She didn't have to invasive surgery herself. All you got to do is break your wrist. He even says it's like your wrist will heal. Like he even says that. He's like, Gabby, I like you. I'm gonna go easy on you. All you got to do is break your wrist and your ankle.
Yeah.
And I will say that when she does, she starts with the
Her
ankle.
yeah. Because
And
Cecilia told her to.
yeah, I don't know why Cecilia thinks she gets to call the shots from the side.
Oh yeah.
Because I was thinking, um, start with your wrist, then you'll fall to the ground, and then even if because the radiation thing moves, like that's like the whole thing. She starts with the ankle, and then she kind of like swings out of the way,
Yeah.
but then the reveal is like, nope, it's moving with you. It's still gonna
Yeah.
get you.
So unfair.
But even if you started with the wrist and then fell, it's got to be easier to get that thing off when you're on the ground.
Yeah. Actually,
So,
that makes sense.
but no, Cecilia had to jump in and coach her through it. And
Maybe she did it on purpose. Like, hey, start with your ankle.
I don't know. Well, we're almost to that point where we get to talk about that. So we'll just she Gabriella passes her thing. She breaks her wrist. She breaks her ankle. She gets out of the way of the thing, and John is like, "Dope. Let's get her to the hospital."
Yeah. Well, before we go there, they unchained Parker because he was
Mm.
part of the group now.
Yeah, he's just told, he's like, "All right, you're gonna be part of this. We're not using any guns. We're doing the traps."
No guns. That's the rule.
That's he said the word rule. And as soon
Yeah.
as he says the word rule, you're like, "Oh, he's going to break the rule." Something bad's going to happen.
But yeah, let's get into it now. So they're like, all right, let's help Gabriella. But then Parker had his gun.
He
He's like,
pulls
all
out the
right.
gun immediately, and John's like, "Dude, didn't I just say don't use the gun?" But then an even bigger twist than Parker pulling out the gun is what, Abrar?
Uh, you say it.
He's with Cecilia.
Yes. So.
You didn't know. You didn't know what I was saying.
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're gonna say. I thought you were gonna say something else, but
No, he's a bad. He's
yes,
not just a bad guy. He's the bad guy
he
with
is.
Cecilia.
Yes, so they pretty much gun pointed Amanda and John. They're like, you know what, man, get on this trap. We're done with you. We're gonna kill you now.
Yeah,
Um, when Amanda unchained Cecilia. Cecilia gave her the big B slap.
yeah.
Pow. But yeah, Parker and Cecilia, they're both together. They were supposed to be. They were a couple, right? They were on. They were.
They were, at least one of them thought they were a couple.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so John get in this trap, and John's like, man, that sucks. But they also they also chained Amanda as well on the side, not on the trap where Cecilia was. But they were just talking. You know what? Amanda's saying like, she's gonna screw you over, and
Yeah.
Parker's like, yeah, shut the hell up. But like, okay.
Don't forget what she does to Gabriella.
Oh, this is why I hate her. So, John was like, "Dude, man, get her to the hospital.
Yeah,
She's still alive. She won
he's
her
like,
trap."
you don't understand. She passed her trap. She gets to live now.
Yeah.
And Cecilia's like, oh, bet, and then like steps on her neck and kills her.
Wow. What
So
a piece of
I'm
shit.
I'm not gonna lie, Brar.
Yeah.
The movie didn't lose me here, but it kind of lost me here.
What do you mean?
Uh, the fact that like this lady's not just scamming people
Hmm.
evil. She's like mustache twirling, like she killed Gabriella. She's like, I was evil the whole time, and now I don't have to share the money with
Yeah.
anybody. I'm gonna kill a fucking kid. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa, dude.
Yeah. I
Chill out. This came out of nowhere.
I mean,
Like,
she's thinking in that rich mindset, like, hey, all these poor people,
mm,
they're not gonna be a part of my money. That's what she's
yeah,
thinking.
if it was it might be a little racist too. If it was the thing where she got out of the chain and then she's like like we know she's a bad person because of everything she's done up to this point, but if it's like a self-preservation thing where she's
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna shoot Amanda in the head because I need to get out of here or something. But no, the fact that she's like, I'm gonna put you in the trap because I knew you were Jigsaw the whole time and you're going to die and I'm gonna watch you die and I'm gonna smile and laugh and I'm like, you're
Yeah.
a different character now. Um
Okay, okay, okay.
I mean that's why I said the movie it didn't lose me because I still like this movie quite a bit. But I just think it's really silly how we go from like why was she cheering people on? Why was she like, you can do it? You can do it.
I don't
Gabby,
know.
Gabby, break your leg first and then break your hand and then you'll survive better. And then as soon as she's unchained, she just kills Gabriella. I understand on paper, where it's
Mhm.
just like, oh well, she doesn't have to pay anybody money anymore. But like, dude,
Yeah, okay, I can see that, but I don't think that lost me. Um, the,
it was just how it's a
quick it
character
turned.
that we knew was a bad guy.
Yeah,
But like she's not just a bad guy, she's evil evil. Like
yeah.
uh I don't know. I can't even think of an example.
It's kinda like Anna from Jigsaw.
It's like if you're a police officer and you're like you have to go to this place and arrest this person. You're like, "All right, that's easy." And you get there and it's Hitler? It's like, "Oh, okay. It's really bad, huh?" That's kind of what it was like.
Okay, okay. I see that. But yeah, so she broke her neck, she died. And John's like, "Man, what the hell?" And, and,
He was like, "Ah, she passed, you asshole."
yeah, um and also Amanda was crying like, "Oh no," she was felt bad about Gabrielle as well. But the big part of this ending here, or not ending, but this big part of this movie is Carlos, the kid.
The little
He was
soccer kid.
the little soccer kid was playing outside at night for some
Where
reason.
where are this guy's parents, man?
Exactly. I don't know.
He's
Uh, yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, he was there. He was like, "Oh, look, I can hear him. Let's Peterson's like, let's bring him in." And Peterson's like, "Oh no,
Yeah,
Carlos." Yeah, go
Cecilia
ahead.
is like she's like, "Oh, John, you thought you were gonna put me in a trap? Well, now guess what? This trap you built that was meant for me, I'm gonna put this innocent kid in there, and it's gonna be all your fault." And it's like, "Whoa, dude,
Exactly.
you're the
Uh,
most evilest person in this entire series."
I think this is the first time we're seeing a kid in a trap.
Man, let me tell you, that moment. So she brings this kid in,
Yeah.
and she forces the kid and John to get in this like two-person trap.
Mhm.
Uh and the moment where it's like turning on and like they're forced to like by these chains, they're forced to like lay down on their backs
Yes.
and like it's moving up and this moment where like yeah, you said we've never seen a kid in a trap because why would we ever see a kid in a trap? That's not what John does.
No.
Um but we know how bad these traps are. We know
Yeah.
what they can do. We've seen for 10 movies what these things can do. And now there's this kid, let not and our main character, mind you, who
Yeah.
I mean, technically we know nothing's going to happen to him yet cuz he dies in Saw 3.
Yeah.
Uh but we're
This
like what the hell and it's made all the better like we don't know what this trap's going to do.
uh-oh.
There's no explanation. I think she's like, "You will press the tape," and he's like, "No, I'm not gonna press the tape." And she's like, "Fine, this kid's gonna die and not even know the rules." And
Yeah.
so like we don't know what this thing's about to do, and then
Well,
ma- my
the
like
mhm.
I was captivated by this scene, Abrar. Captivated.
I am too. This one is called the blood boarding trap.
Mhm.
Pretty much, on one side there's a person, and the other side is the person, and then they have to pull the lever, of course, the name is called the bloodboarding. Pretty much, they're getting uh, waterboarded or bloodboarded through blood, and if you pull the lever, the other person will receive it. Oh no, they will receive it. Wait, once you pull the lever, you will receive it, right?
Yeah, you pull
Yeah,
can
yeah,
pull the lever to like drown yourself, but
yeah,
give the other person relief.
yeah. And before they started the trap, John said to Carlos, "No hala, no
Mm,
hala." That's very important.
so
And
great.
very great, very good callback. And yeah, so John came was the first guy to be bloodboarded, and you see Carlos is like, uh, I'll pull the lever, and
Yeah.
he's doing it.
It what's really great about it is the fact that we're not told the rules to this trap. We're seeing like you're understanding like, oh, okay, that's what the lever does. Oh, that's what the trap is, all on your own. And so when he tells Carlos no hala before, you're like, what does pulling the lever do? What is that? And then once he pulls it himself, and then you realize that he's bloodboarding himself and saving the kid.
Yeah.
It's this scene is amazing.
Yeah, this is a great scene. They
It's so if I was critical about how evil the Cecilia character became seemingly out of nowhere,
mhm.
this scene wins me right back.
Sure, sure. That's good. That's good. I like the scene too. So when that trap is happening, they're going back and forth. What's her face? Cecilia and Parker. They're like, all right, let's get our money. The money's where Amanda and John were upstairs. So they went upstairs and they're like, dude, man, we're killing them. And Parker asked a good question. And do you remember what that question was?
I do remember. So uh Cecilia's making her way over to the bag of money, and Parker is like, hey, if you're the last one left and that trap's for two people, who was the other person supposed to be?
So Cecilia's like, I don't care. Here's the
Yeah,
money.
she's like, huh? And then she pulls the bag, and what's behind the bag is a clock with a countdown timer, and the Saw music hits.
Oh,
Abrar,
yeah.
the biggest smile on my face.
Me too. I was like,
I
shit.
was like, this is so awesome.
So that happened, and the door closed.
Slams closed.
And was there any tape played?
Yeah, there was a tape that was like, "Hey, I knew you guys were dickheads together the whole time. Here, have some poison gas."
Yeah,
Because it
poison.
because it explained, because there's like a little like there's a little hole just big enough for like one person to stick their head through, and
Yeah,
the whole idea is like, you guys are stuck in there now with this poison gas coming in, and only one of you gets to breathe fresh air.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh, so when that happened, Amanda and John, or Amanda has a key, of course, unlocked herself, and then unlocked the kid, and
I don't even think they had keys. I think they just like
I
took
think they
the
had
things
keys.
off. They weren't real chains.
I thought Amanda took out a key from like her pocket or something,
I
and then
thought they
like
just removed the pin from like the
oh,
thing. They were like, we know how to get out of this.
probably yeah, probably. And they got out of the chain, and then John Kramer was talking to the kid. Is like, hey man, I'm so proud of you. You went through this. And does the kid know he was a part of it? I'm sure he was.
No, this kid doesn't even speak English.
Oh yeah, right.
All he knows is to not pull the thing.
Oh, so okay, so when John was talking to Amanda, it's like, hey, the plan almost didn't work, but it worked. He's like, yeah, it worked. So who was supposed to be on the other side besides the kid? Was it supposed to be Amanda?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Carlos kid just came by accident.
Yeah, no, if he wasn't playing soccer outside, he wouldn't have been part of this at all.
Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad he said holla.
Yeah, it's convenient that's the word that we learned.
Very good, very good. So they're all three of them just looking at upstairs, them fighting each other to the death. Um,
Yeah. She
uh,
Cecilia stabs Parker.
Sat Parker, and you see his face going through it because of the gas,
And of course
poison
it
gas.
flashes back to when Amanda says like she's gonna kill you.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
well,
I I I love when Saw movies do that. Like we literally
yeah.
saw the scene, but you're recapping it.
Yeah, of course.
I love it. But yeah, so Cecilia put her head through the hole there, and she was there looking at John, and John and Amanda and Carlos walked out as a happy family.
They sure did. And Cecilia, although is not, even though she's the most evil character in this entire series, she is not killed gruesomely, but
No,
she is left to die.
yes, so yeah, if she gets out, didn't the gas turned off?
The gas did turn off,
Yeah.
but she's stuck in that room.
Oh yeah, she can get out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh wow,
It's
that's true.
there is no like game over like door slam moment,
No.
but John's just like, all right, see ya, and he leaves.
Yeah, it was more like a game open. All right, game's
Oh,
open, and they went to the sunset pretty much,
they
and
sure did.
the movie's over.
That's when the credits hit.
From the credits hit, and then for the first time ever, there's an after credit for a Saw movie.
Mid credits, yeah.
Yeah, mid credit. So this trap is called the disbowel movement trap. So, do you want to talk about it, or should I talk about it?
Well, we really don't even know what the trap is gonna do. It's got a bunch of like moving sharp parts. It's connected to like his chest and his neck, but like there's sharp parts like
Go to your
around
stomach,
his stomach. We're I mean, the person is
Henry.
Henry Kessler, who was the guy from earlier that saw John in the coffee shop that was like, "Look at my scar. They cured my cancer. Go to Mexico." So of course John was like, "Oh, I didn't forget about you, motherfucker. I'm putting you in the trap."
He was part of it too.
He sure was. And then well, yeah, because he's not just getting this guy for no reason. We were revealed like there is no actual scar. The scar was fake. He was
But
absolutely in on it.
but do you think he had cancer?
No.
Huh.
I don't think he did. I think he was a plant there to find desperate people because he showed him the surgery scar and then the scar was fake, so he had no reason to get surgery. So,
Gotcha, gotcha.
um, but the biggest part about this after the credit scene, not just John getting one last guy that needs to go in a trap, but he does it with the help of Hoffman.
Yes, he's the guy who was on that phone call with John Kramer, talking about the detective. And
Of
that is
course,
Not Jonathan Hoffman, Detective Hoffman. And did he look the same?
he looks close enough.
Yeah, I thought oh, it was just like one scene.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and then pretty much they gave him the trap, and then of course, a classic Saul edits going back and forth,
Oh, the
uh,
spinning.
the spinning,
Yeah.
and we don't see the how it ended, but the end of the movie
No.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's Saw 10. What do you after we talked about it? What are your thoughts now?
Cool movie. I like that one. I like Saw 10.
I really do too. Saw 10 was it gave me after watching Jigsaw Spiral, I'm like, ah, these are not good Saw movies. But this one brought me back, and I hope this is
Yeah.
the last Saw movie. Saw movie.
Well, I agree with you. I hope that too, but if you look at, budget 13 million, box office 80 million, they could do another one.
No, don't do it. They walked off to the sunset, man. That's how you end it. End it when it's hot.
Where do you go from this? If they decide like, all right, let's make an 11th Saw movie. What else do you do?
What they can do is how they did for this one. This was between 1 and 2. They could do like between 3 and 4.
Well, no, not between 3 and 4 because those ones happen at the same time.
Oh yeah, you're right. They can do like between 5 to 6.
But John's already dead at that point. Wait,
Yeah.
you gonna make Hoffman come back?
Yeah, Hoffman 4, 5, and 6.
No, I think you're right that they should just stop.
Yeah.
But
They
but
just stop it. You ended perfectly. It's like if you guys watched Insidious, the last movie, they pretty much wrapped up the whole series in that last movie, and that's it. Ended there. That's what they should do for this one. But yeah, man, this was really good. It was a really good movie.
I
Uh,
agree.
Even the traps weren't that crazy, but the story took over the traps for the first
Mhm.
time, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Saw 10. The last thing we should do, man, we saw 1 through Saw 10.
Mhm.
Now we have the opportunity to rank them.
Yes, we do.
All right, so hopefully you have your list.
I do. I at first I forgot,
Oh
but
shit!
then I made my list right before we started recording this.
Very nice, very nice. Well, let's go through from Saw 10 to I'm sorry, number 10 to number 5. So I'll let you go first.
Okay, so worst to bet to 5,
To
right?
5, yeah.
Okay. So my bottom 5, the worst one without a doubt. And it's probably I imagine yours is pretty low on yours too.
Hmm.
It is Saw 7, Saw the final chapter, Saw 3D.
Sure.
That's the worst one.
Okay. Mine is also the same. Saw 7 for
Mhm.
number 10.
All right, number 9 might be different here. I'm gonna
Okay.
say Spiral.
Oh, for your number 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is different. I put Saw 5.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Well, my number 8 is Saw 5.
Okay. Well, just like your number 9, my number 8 is Spiral, the
Oh,
Book of Saw.
we're pretty close.
Very close.
Well, then, would your number 7 be the same as my number 7
Let's
and
see.
be Jigsaw?
Yes.
All
Perfect.
right.
Well, we're close. We're very close.
All right.
Um,
So then that was 10, 9, 8, 7. So my number 6
6.
is Saw 4.
Boom, me too.
Okay, so our list is basically the same except swap Spiral and Saw 5.
Yeah, as of right now.
Yeah, yeah, as of right now. So I think up here at the top half is where things are going to get different.
Let's see.
So my number 5 is Saw 3.
Ooh. My number 5 is all 2.
Mm. My number 4 is Saw 2.
Okay, my number 4 is Saw 6.
Okay. Number 3, I'm putting Saw 10, Saw X.
Wow, you put number 3?
Number 3.
My number 3 is Saw 3.
Okay. Well, now you're going to be confused because my number 2 is Saw 6.
I'm okay. Okay, Saw 6 is with the insurance company, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I stick with number 4 for that one.
Okay.
My number 3 was Saw 3, and then what was your number 2 again?
My number 2 is Saw 6. Your number 2 is Saw X, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And then our number 1
Well,
is
that's the most obvious one. That was the one that was never going to be a question. It's the
no
first one.
Saw 2004. All right,
Yeah.
so we got misplaced from two rankings, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a mostly identical list. Um, it's
You
been
you put Spiral on number 9.
yeah.
I thought it was fun. I put number 8.
What's the difference?
It's a little higher.
You like one movie less than that one. That's the only difference.
Yeah. I don't know. Saw 5 at the end where Halfman's like, I'm in the box. But
That's pretty
other,
good.
yeah, that's
What
good. By
about
that,
Boz?
Boz was number, yeah, Boz. Um, but yeah, that's a good ranking. Of course, Saw the first one, Saw 1. It's it's literally the best Saw movie out there. Hopefully, it's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, that is it. We are done. with our Saw rewatch.
It's
After
been one hell of a month.
it's been a one. I feel like it was short and long at the same time, but yeah, I can't believe we went through 10 movies.
Yep. Yep. I mean, that's what we do.
That's what we do, man. Maybe next time we might do, since the new Spider-Man game came out, we could do the Spider-Man movies.
That'd be cool. Yeah, Spider-Man movies. We could rank Spider-Man villains.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
do you want to count MCU Spider-Man?
What do you mean?
Like, no Tom Holland, just Toby and Andrew.
Tom Holland's Spider-Man too, though.
Yeah, but he's part of a universe.
Well, okay. Well, I wouldn't count Avengers movies, but you can't leave out a movie where Spider-Man fights the Vulture or Spider-Man fights Mysterio.
All right, we'll bring him in. But yeah, so that is.
I did all that to go to bat for him. He's not my number one.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Okay. We'll probably do a Spider-Man thing soon. But yeah, that is done. We're done with Saw. I think I'm Saw out. What about you?
Man, I don't want to play any more games.
Me either. I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. I'm done with the series. I love the series, but I'm done with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is it. And Skylar, where can the audience find you? Hopefully, they can find you at a good place here.
Well, it sounds like they can find me in another episode of the Brown Boy Wonder podcast talking about Spider-Man.
Maybe so. But yeah, you can find this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and now I am recently in iHeartRadio podcasts.
Wow.
Yeah. Do people listen to iHeartRadio? I'm sure internationally people do.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, let's bring back 2008, you know what I'm saying? But
I
yeah.
agree.
Yeah. That's where Tropic Thunder came out with Simple Jack.
Oh, Simple Jack.
Let's not end it with Simple Jack.
Oh, you have to.
No. But let's end it with how what did John say at the end of Saw 1?
You know what he said?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what he said.
Let's say it at the same time.
All right, at the count of 3, ready?
Yeah.
All right, 3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
You
Game.
make me happy.
You make me happy.
No, game over.